So here we sit at 23-53 with 6 games left. We've got a date with the ridiculously stacked Philadelphia 76ers. There was a few really cool trades from the trade deadline that we didn't go over in the last episode. And oh yeah, Mo Wagner's pretty pissed off at me that I had him down in the G League. So welcome back everybody to episode 6 of the Louisville Badgers. And today we're going to do things just a little bit differently. I'm going to spend most of this episode showing you guys the gameplay because I noticed that I spent a lot of the previous episodes showing you guys a lot of the the details of what we do from a GM perspective. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit more gameplay today from the Philadelphia 76ers game. We'll see how we do in that game. Again, they're a really, really talented team, obviously. They're first in the East. So we got our work cut out for us. But before we get into that game, I do want to go over some of the trades that happened at the trade deadline last episode that I didn't actually get to go over. And I forgot to even check this at first. But as you guys will see, there were some actually pretty notable trades here. So the first one that happened was between the Thunder and the Miami Heat. The Thunder gave up Steven Adams and Jeremy Grant for Hassan Whiteside and Derrick Jones Jr. The Spurs were able to pick up E'Twaun Moore from the Pelicans, and they gave up a 2020 first-round pick. It's top 3 protected. The Mavericks picked up Patrick Beverley in exchange for Courtney Lee and Daryl Macon. The Raptors picked up J.J. Barea and Devin Harris, and they gave up Norman Powell and a first-round top 3 protected 2021 draft pick in exchange to the Mavericks. The Nuggets picked up Luke Kennard, among a few others. Gave that up to the Pistons for Will Barton, among a few others. The Thunder traded Andre Roberson for Antonio Blakeney to the Bulls straight up. So that was a pretty good trade for the Bulls. They're looking pretty good now, for the future, especially defensively now that they got Otto Porter, Andre Roberson. So they might be able to do some big things depending on what they are able to pick up in the draft this coming year. The Hawks picked up Matthew Dellavedova and Deng Adel from the Cavaliers in exchange for Justin Anderson and a 2019 second-round unprotected pick. And then the trade that I was the most proud of to see happen in 2K in this series here was that the Pistons traded Reggie Jackson and a 2019 first-round unprotected pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for Mike Conley. That was easily one of the most realistic trades I had ever seen happen in this game. No matter how deep you go into the game, I mean, I've never seen a more realistic trade, at least in MyLEAGUE series that I've played through. Yeah, that was a very interesting trade, one that I thought was really cool to see. But yeah, so like I said, there were some cool trades that happened at the trade deadline, and I forgot to get to those last episode, but there was a lot of things to get to last episode. So, that was just something that I kind of overlooked. But anyway, like I said, we're going to get into this Philadelphia 76ers gameplay. I mentioned earlier that Mo Wagner was a little bit upset with us, so I did call him up from the G League. So he is with the NBA team now. We're going to get him back to, being happy with us, hopefully. His morale is triggered right now, as you can see, so not great. But anyway, I took some minutes from Zubats and Len and gave them to Wagner, so he will be... he'll have 10 minutes, in the rotation here. Maybe I'll just give him a couple more minutes too, honestly. It might not be a bad idea to do that. Just to make him happy. Plus, he is a rookie, so it can't hurt for me to see, how he does in these NBA situations. His G League stats were not bad one bit. His field goal percentage could use a little work, but look at his three-point percentage, though. 45% from the three-point line. He was averaging 15.2 points per game, along with 6 rebounds and 2.5 assists in just over 26 minutes per game played over the span of 14 games. So he did not do bad at all in the G League. He definitely earned his right to come back up with the NBA team. And so, yeah, we're going to give him some playing time. We've got Karuch starting because Osman is just fresh off of an injury. And, we're going to still continue on with that experiment. But enough of the details. We're going to hop into this game against the Philadelphia 76ers. And like I said, I'm going to show you guys a lot more of the gameplay this time instead of just giving you offensive highlights. But of course, it's going to be, somewhat abbreviated so that we're not sitting here for over an hour watching an entire 2K game. But yeah, let's hop right into it. We are going to be in Philadelphia, so it's definitely going to be a hostile environment. And we're going to be going up against, like I said, a really good team that's in first place right now in the East. But this is definitely going to be a test for us, but we'll see how we do.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us for NBA action on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Greg Anthony and two Hall of Famers. Doris Burke here at the table, and on the sideline, David Aldridge. For the Philadelphia 76ers, they won their last contest, that game against the Celtics.
All right, so here we are at tip-off against the, the most dominant team in the Eastern Conference so far this year. They just been doing amazing, and if you look at their lineup, it's not surprising why. But anyway, as we go through this gameplay, I'm going to go over some of the questions you guys have had for me and some of the comments and feedback you guys have given to me, and kind of answer some of those questions and give my thoughts on some of that feedback. And some of it is advice that you guys have given me, which I'm going to read off as well. And it's stuff that I think is relevant. So first one was Arcane Soul said, get rid of the NBA logo and the Nike swoosh logo on the court. Makes it look too busy, and also real life NBA courts look very clean and bright without it. So that was something that I took heavily into consideration. I think I even did remove one or both of the secondary logos. I did look around the NBA courts, and most of the teams do have the secondary logos, but he is right. Most of them are very, very clean looking, and they're not busy at all. They're very minimalist. Sir Basmus said, "Good vid, my guy. I really like the pace and confidence of your voice. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate feedback like that." Rocky Plays 18 said, "I'm excited for this series. Also, can I find your team in 2K MyLEAGUE?" And the answer to that is yes. If you go under codename Steve on PC, you can find the Badgers. And if you go under bomb.com on PS4, that's BOMMDOTCOM, no spaces, you'll find the Badgers also. I've seen a few people do a few variations of the Badgers uniform. Again, under BOMMDOTCOM, bomb spelled incorrectly. And then under PC, it'll be under codename Steve, all one word. Charlie James says, "I think for your team, you're not ready for Anthony Davis. It's no knock on the team, but if AD wanted to leave the Pelicans, I'm sure he would head to a team that is out there ready for a championship title. Don't get me wrong, I like your team because it's on the come up, which adding AD is a cool idea, but it would be a better idea to give this team time to grow and gel," which is 100% true. I think that what he's talking about is that I mentioned when I was talking about the Anthony Davis thing and what we should do with him, I mentioned that should I put together a trade package for like Boston? Should I put together a trade package for the Lakers? Should I just let 2K do what it does with Anthony Davis with his loyalty all the way down? Or I think I even mentioned, threw it in there, should we trade for him or put together a package for him? That, I don't know, I threw that in there, but thinking in realistic terms, what would we really give for Anthony Davis? Even if we ended up with the first overall pick in this next draft, I can't imagine that the Pelicans are going to trade us Anthony Davis for, say, that pick, maybe another first round draft pick, and then a few of the players on our team. I don't know who we would have that we could give them for Anthony Davis. I mean, they would obviously want Jaren Jackson right off the bat. So we would basically have to give up a lot, basically everything, to get Anthony Davis in a trade. So yeah, I'm 100% in on that, Charlie James. I think that would be a lot better of an idea to either let 2K handle it on its own, which God knows what they'll do. He'll probably end up on the Pelicans until he's a free agent. Or if you guys want to vote on it, we can vote on a trade package for Boston, a trade package for LA. Garrett Cerner said, I think the Boston Celtics are more likely to trade for Davis, and I agree 100%. As we're looking up, paying attention to the game here for a second, see Danny Green just drilling a 3, but we are still down by 10. As usual, in games we've played this season, we came out kind of slow, and the first quarter has not been kind to us in a lot of these games. But this one in particular, we pretty much knew what to expect out of them. For the most part, I mean, this was a tough team, man. They did exactly what I expected them to do, which was play through their stars and play to their strengths. And then also on the other end, take away what we do best. And, I think that they, without a doubt, accomplished that. See Myers Leonard getting an awesome block there. But then look at this. This was all game. The offensive rebounds and the second chance points. Boban there. I mean, that was just all game long. I could not stop them from getting those second chance points. And it really did get frustrating because we'd come up with a really good stop. And then, they just grab it right back down on the offensive board. I mean, right here again, it's just like I had guys in position and Embiid was able to still just jump over everybody, grab the offensive board, and get the second chance points. So it was something that I had trouble stopping all game long. But anyway, back to some of these comments. Wave J Houston 27 says, hey, I'm from the Chupacabra series. I'm only going to ask if you'll use the real draft class until 2023 season. I really want to see Jalen Green be drafted. No one has ever drafted Jalen Green in NBA 2K Rebuild series. And Jalen Green is a guy who is going to make an appearance in this series, without a doubt. He will be in a draft class. And actually, you guys won't even have to wait until 2023 to see him in the draft class. He may be in there in the 2020 or 2021 draft class. I'm pretty sure he'll be coming out in one of those two draft classes in real life anyway. So the latest you guys will have to wait if you guys want to see guys like Jalen Green and, some of the better high school players. They'll be out here in the next few draft classes. So you guys won't have to wait long for that. Let's see here. So Ace Games says, great vid, and I really like the city jerseys. Thank you so much for that feedback. Big Sack in a Box says, that trade edit was fire. The little details matter. I don't agree with moving Shamit, but very nice. And I got a few people that gave me that feedback saying, that they thought I probably shouldn't have moved Landry Shamit. I just didn't think that he fit on this team. I wanted him to go to a team where he would have, some of the share of minutes, and on this team, I just didn't think he would. Between Danny Green and Bryn Forbes, those guys having the minutes that they have, and then, I could have probably put him at small forward some. I don't really know how he plays at point guard, if he's even a point guard at all. But, as far as, working him in at shooting guard, it would have been a little bit difficult. Isaiah Mosley says, yo, Steve, you keep butchering Seti Osman's name. He says, laugh out loud, sounds like said E. So like SAID space E. And I was saying Jetty. So that's what he's talking about. But the only reason I was saying Jetty was because I kept hearing like other people saying that. So I think I heard like LeBron James call him that, and I think I heard like Kevin Harlan call him that. So I just kept saying it that way. But I apologize to you guys if I was messing that up. I guess his name is Seti Osman and not Jetty Osman. Jeffrey Malagon says, unless you're 100% comfortable playing Jaren Jackson at the 5, which he's capable of, then picking Williamson isn't really the best pick based on the roster. Morant or Barrett might be a better choice solely to be able to complement Jackson's game. Morant in particular, they're both really good on the pick and roll. Agree 100%. It seems like a lot of people are very high on John Morant. The consensus seems to be that Williamson is an awesome player, but for this particular squad, that Morant might be a better fit, or even RJ Barrett, which from a positional standpoint makes perfect sense. But we'll do our due diligence and, figure out who's the best fit for this team. This play, I really want you guys to see this play. Look at this. Jaren Jackson just takes it from Ben Simmons. And that was one that I highlighted because, I mean, that was amazing. And then we come down. Bryn Forbes puts up an amazing rainbow shot like he always does and nails it from the corner. And then Simmons comes back down again, and look who is there to meet him. Zubats with the ridiculous block. They did get the offensive rebound. No surprise there, but we were able to stop them still, at least before the foul. So here we are at halftime. You see some of the halftime highlights. Up to this point, we didn't shoot very well. We were having trouble getting inside and penetrating the way we wanted to. But again, this was a game that we knew was not going to be any kind of cakewalk. It was going to be tough just to keep it close, let alone have a chance of winning it. They showed up and gave us exactly what we thought out of them. The real embarrassing part here really is just the rebounding. We got out-rebounded 39-19 in the first half, down by 16. So, that was obviously the big problem point for us was the rebounding. But as we start the third quarter up, start the second half up, let's get into some more of you guys' comments and feedback. Moving on, Rocky Plays 18 says, I'm loving Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he's an amazing player for this team and the future of this team. Keep it up. Thanks so much for that. Really like the feedback that I get from this guy, Rocky Plays 18. Charlie James says, can I download this for Xbox or you have this on PlayStation? If you're talking about the team, it's on PC and on PlayStation, like I was saying earlier. If you're talking about the draft class, which a lot of people have been asking me about, that's only going to be on PC. And the reason for that is because you just can't do the Cyberface mods on the consoles. 888 says, please just don't pick Morant. Let's see here. Lazo Coast says, trade down to 3 and get Morant or RJ. Parker Gast says, get Morant. And Lord Chanky says also, Ja Morant with fire. So he definitely wants us to get Morant. Mega Kelox, sorry if I mispronounced that. If you can't get Ja Morant, RJ, or Zion, you should get Cam. So he's talking about Cam Reddish, which would, absolutely be an option for us. I would think that the only way Cam Reddish would be the guy that we'd go for is if we traded down, because I can't see us getting like the 5th or 6th pick in the lottery, which is I think where Cam would go around that area. We also can't forget about guys like Jarrett Culver and like Darius Garland, because those are guys who we could certainly target if we do trade down. This is an awesome play here. Jaren Jackson just unstoppable with the and one. And I love getting the ball down to him in the low post on a one-on-one like that, especially against a guy like Tobias Harris, who isn't bad on defense. He's not a liability, but I don't think that he can handle Jaren Jackson. And so Trey J completes the three-point play there. And also, before we move on with the comments, check this one out. This was a play by Karuch that I was actually really proud of. Morris almost loses the ball, and then look at this. Karuch is coming in with the double clutch layup, and I was surprised by that move by him. I mean, that was just a really nice move. Anyway, next comment. Patrick Chapman said, is this draft class on Xbox? It is on PC. Fade asked, what's the draft class name on Xbox? Again, it's on PC, but the draft class name on PC is 2K19 Rookies, codename Steve. So that's what it's under on PC if you guys are looking for that. I just uploaded it recently. That way, if you guys, for those of you who do play on PC, just for the record, I only play on PC offline to do these series and stuff like that. As far as online play, if I'm playing, My Player or, any kind of online play whatsoever, I play on PS4, no doubt, because I PC is just, there's no reason to ever play online on PC. That's just my opinion. Tag27 gave me some pretty cool feedback. He said, if you get the number 1 overall, I think you should probably do something similar to what the Celtics did to get Tatum. Trade down because Zion is the consensus number 1 pick, but since you have Jaren Jackson, I don't think you need him as much. I would say get someone like Ja or RJ Barrett by trading down and getting something in addition to the new pick, like some future picks. Since you have Jaren Jackson, don't get Zion. Instead, trade down and get future picks in addition to the 3 or 4 pick, in addition to the 3rd or 4th pick in that draft. And he's not the only person who has given me advice on that as far as, the possibility of trading down, which I'm definitely open to. So, that's something that, I think we will at least explore depending on what pick we end up with. So we'll see how that all goes down. Mud53 says, well, Zion is probably the best pick you can make, and if you get the second pick, you should definitely pick Ja Morant for his insane potential in 2K. And I agree. I think that his potential in 2K, I think his potential is like at least an A. And the fact that there's not a whole lot to choose from out of the point guards in this draft class, makes Ja Morant even more of an asset and more of just a overall good pick for anybody needing a point guard, which we do. Lord Mitrovic says, it doesn't feel like your record is bad enough to get the first pick, but I would take Zion as he would have the most talent and highest trade value. If worse comes to worse, RJ Barrett could be a better fit, as you already have a decent scoring option in the post in Jaren Jackson Jr. And that's actually a really, really good point. Now, in hindsight, when he posted this comment, it may not have looked like our record was bad enough to get the first overall pick, but we know now that our record is at least bad enough to put us in the running for getting that first overall pick. Tessa Scott said, I would love to see Ja Morant on the team. It's different from most YouTubers, and he's got great potential, which is an awesome point. Walnut96 says, I think Ja Morant will be a better fit on your team and a better player overall, which I'm guessing he's probably talking about a better player and a better fit than Zion would be. And, like I said, I mean, I think it's a toss-up. If Zion wasn't in this draft, hypothetically speaking, I think it would be almost a guarantee that Ja Morant would be the player I would probably go for, because he's the guy with the highest ceiling, I would say. Despite the fact that RJ Barrett, man, is ridiculous. He's absolutely amazing. I still think that Ja could be like a borderline superstar in the league. So, and I'm not saying that RJ Barrett couldn't be, but it just seems to me like Ja Morant's path to superstardom is a little more clear than some of the other guys in the draft. And so right on time, it looks like we have reached the end of this game. And you guys see here, beat us by 37. So I know we really kind of expected this to be an extremely tough game. But I did, I guess in my heart, feel like we would have kept it a little closer than it ended up being. And us not lose by 37 points. But yeah, they just went on an absolute tear there between the third and the fourth quarters. And it really just put us away. They've got stars up and down their lineup. So, we're going to watch as they go through the playoffs. I think that they could make it pretty deep, maybe even to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll see. So once again, you guys see the final outcome, 135-98. Blown out by 37 points, and I really got to say, this was definitely the most disappointing game that I played. There wasn't a whole lot of good takeaways from this game, just in general. We didn't shoot well from three, all that much. We did decent from the free throw line, but I mean, look at them fast break points. They were just always seemed like they were on a fast break. And they scored 86 points on us in the paint, which was mostly made up of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid just absolutely destroying us. Bench points, wasn't that lopsided. Assists wasn't that lopsided, but the rebounds were just, I don't even want to go into it. It was really, really bad. But anyway, we're going to move on from that one because we got some pretty important games coming up here. These next 5 games are going to tell us a lot about what's going to happen in next year's draft. And that is very important to us. Very, very important to us. I see a lot of you guys, like I said before, that are high on Zion. Some of you guys are high on Ja Morant. Some of you guys are high on RJ Barrett. There was a few of you guys that even said trade down. So, that's definitely an option depending on where we land. But yeah, these next few games are going to tell us everything we need to know about, our chances of landing a top pick. As it stands right now with, 5 or so games remaining for almost everyone, it looks like we are hovering right around the second or third spot. But yeah, these next 4, I mean, these are going to be the important ones. Let's get down to simulating these. We're going to go one at a time, see how everything goes. And in the end, right before we play the Los Angeles Clippers, we will see where we stand as far as the lottery odds are concerned. So first one here against a very talented Nets team. Let's see how this one goes. And we lost. Pretty big loss there. We're probably going to, after this Mavericks game, or should we do it now? Should we decrease the workload now of guys like Jaren Jackson, maybe a couple of these other young guys that we think are part of our future? I think we're going to do that. At least Jaren Jackson. I mean, he's on fire right now, though. Oh, man. We'll take some of his minutes. We'll go down to 25 with Jaren Jackson. All right, so now we got our lineup all straightened out. Let's continue on. We got the Mavericks next. Let's see how we do. All right, we lost to the Mavericks in pretty big blowout there also. Oh, that's right. I forgot they traded for Patrick Beverley. Look at Luka with 16, 13, and 8. Wow. Not a bad game at all. Jaren Jackson, a decent game. All right. Not scoring a whole lot of points, though. All right, so on to the Trailblazers. We lost to them by 5. Lillard, McCollum, as per usual. Jaren Jackson, 25 points, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And 1 offensive rebound. Cavaliers next. And we lost to the Cavs. All right, so lost by 10. Let's see how this one went. All right, not bad. The Rookie of the Year race is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting because, I mean, you got Jaren Jackson doing really well. You've got Luka doing amazing. Colin Sexton doing really well. So it's going to be an interesting Rookie of the Year race. I'm sure Trae Young is probably doing his thing. Before I simulate up to the Clippers game that we're going to play, let's take a quick look at the lottery odds. All right, so it looks like we've got the third spot pretty well held down for now. I don't think the Hawks could possibly slip into that spot, even if they So we've got the third spot locked up, right? So that's the worst case scenario. Okay, so I'm reading how things are going to be in the revamped draft lottery for 2019. So it says here, the NBA Board of Governors approved changes to the lottery system on September 28, 2017 that will be implemented for the 2019 NBA draft. Under the revamped format, the NBA draft lottery will ensure that the team with the worst record will receive no worse than the 5th pick. The new system will level the odds at the top of the NBA draft lottery so that the teams with the 3 worst regular season records will each have a 14% chance of winning the lottery. All right, so team 1, 2, and 3 all get a 14% chance. So that means that it doesn't matter what happens from this point forward with that new revamped system in place for the 2019 draft, which I was pretty sure that was the case. We've given ourselves a 14% chance to get the top pick. So we have just as good a chance as the Phoenix Suns or the New York Knicks, no matter what we do in the LA Clippers game. My guess is that we're probably going to have a top pick no matter what, but we will see how the NBA draft lottery goes in the next couple of episodes because we will be hitting the off season here very soon, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for that. Any more feedback that you guys might have for me regarding the upcoming draft, regarding the upcoming free agency, any feedback you guys have for me, any advice you guys have for me, anything you guys want to see, like I always say, this series is just as much about you, if not more. So please let me know what your thoughts are, and if you have any more advice for me as to what you think we should do with our pick in this upcoming draft. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. It is going to be really hard really hard to not take Zion Williamson if we end up with that number 1 pick. And it's really simple why. Take the best talent and work things out later. You know what I mean? It's hard to say whether or not he will be a 3 or a 4 in the NBA. I know we already have our power forward of the future in Jaren Jackson. But like I said, it would be really difficult for me to justify not taking him with that pick, as talented as he is and with the amount of potential that he has and the way that I think he would be able to impact this team pretty much immediately. It would just be really difficult for me to say no to that. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. So we will be back next episode with the Clippers game. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.